right, so we are headed another 30 minutes. We got to go meet at a Love's. Why does that say 1 hour 38 minutes faster? But it's only a 30-minute trip. That's weird. So yeah, we're gonna go head out and do that. I just checked the mileage and everything. We got 11.14 miles per gallon. So that confirms my suspicions. Towing in overdrive, you will get better fuel mileage. Even if it is only 1 mile per gallon better, it's still better fuel mileage. Obviously, we need to fix the torque converter before anything. The transmission's always gonna overheat until we do. I'm gonna replace the coolers, but that's not gonna, that's not gonna be the permanent solution. We still need to fix the transmission issue. But like I said, we got a couple more trips left, and then we will have a new tranny in this thing at some point. All right, so here's where we're at, right? We were supposed to meet here. I've spent all day. I was told to head out last night. Everything is all good. I get here, and now I'm told we can't meet. So I'm literally just gonna drive to the guy because it's like 4 hours. I'm just gonna make the drive now, call it a day. I'm gonna try to manage the transmission temps. If transmission goes out, whatever. Hopefully we're still able to pick up the other truck. If not, hopefully he can bring it to me at a later date. But I'm just kind of at this point, like, this has been a 2-week process, so I really just need to get this thing dropped off because this is what's holding me back from getting the transmission fixed. So all my money's tied up in this, and this needs a trans. Well, we're still moving along. We got like an hour and a half left. Nothing's happened, so I haven't really had anything to film, but the truck has been doing all right. I got it to like 235 once, and then it's been chilling around like 200 to 215. So we're fine. Still got the truck on the back. Let's go over, do a pre-trip real quick, post-trip, whatever you want to call it. Look at that, both our straps are there. All the tires are good. Straps are in the back. Cool, none of the tires popped. There you go. Just for you guys curious, I've been running for 53.5 minutes and I've driven 58.2 miles. So our average speed is probably about 65 mile an hour. Trans temps have come down to, 197. I don't know how they're that low now, but even with like 28 degrees earlier, I mean, I could still do 240 degrees on there, not a problem. So what I've learned is if I keep the boost under like 15 pounds and then climbing grades, keep it under 12, it's pretty manageable, especially in overdrive. Once you start using overdrive off, you're slowing the speed down. So the cooler's doing even less work at these lower speeds. So it's just, in my experience with this situation, it's not really helping me. So just running overdrive, keeping the load down. If I have to drop down to 60 mile an hour, I do. It's not an issue. I just let my foot out of it if I have to. Getting ready to unload her, see if all that airflow through there. This thing's had 20-degree air going through it for the longest time, so see if she fires. Ugh. Let's see. Should be a little, yeah, right there. Wait to start. And for sitting that long and having all that airflow going through it, that's pretty good. I need to get my wheels and tires out of the back. So I move all those. Yeah, she fires right up. Move these ramps, get out of his way. So we're gonna be going and picking up the other truck. So you guys know the biggest reason I hate the trucking industry is the hurry up and wait game. I don't have time for this shit. So today, we're just waiting on being able to pick up a truck. I'm still in Indiana, so we decided I'm gonna go through and make some changes to the truck. So we're gonna be buttoning up some wiring. One of these bulbs, these are a terrible design from factory, these twist bulbs, so I gotta figure one of them out. And then we're also doing wiring on hooking this guy in here. So we're gonna have this hardwired into the back here. We're gonna loom all this stuff when it's done, make it kind of look nice, and go from there. But in the meantime, we're gonna wire this guy in. I've already rewired the whole inside of this. We got nice butt connectors on the end, and then this is my positive here. So we're gonna tie that into the cigarette outlet that is on only when the key's on. Also, that also doesn't kill the truck, which is good. I cut off the cigarette adapter end right there, so this is kind of in my trash bottle. I'm using this for like all the stuff in here. So we're gonna be cutting some of this off. We're gonna be getting rid of the fuse here because I just blew the fuse over here and I don't have a spare. So we're just gonna have to rely on the truck's fuse box. So while we're taking care of all that, this is gonna be nice to be able to use this thing, and we still gotta hook up the 7-way in the back, but I'm mainly doing the internal stuff. I have to put a 10 ohm resistor down underneath there, so I'm gonna do that today as well while we're waiting. So everything I can possibly get done. We're trying to make everything efficient and clean, and like obviously like this isn't the prettiest thing in the world, but like I said, I'm gonna shorten this down a lot, and then we're also gonna loom it as well. So I know it's a little bit of a waste of butt connectors, but I do like these personally because they are the heat shrunk ones, and I am going to be using these more. And then also with the loom, I really do like these things. Solder also works, but then again, you also have to have the heat shrink for that as well. So it's a to each their own thing. I do like these. I think they'll work out great, and we're going to keep using them because I haven't had any customer complaints on these. So we've gotten a lot more simplified, shortened up quite a bit. And then we have this guy ran down here. So, and that will actually backfeed as well. So like if I want to run something from this but don't want to turn the cigarette lighter on, I can actually power it from that thing, which is kind of neat. Don't know if I'm gonna do that, but like I said, I don't have any loom on me. And you can see this was for an amp wire, so I don't have that wired up yet. And then I also have the RCAs back here, so we just didn't wire any of that up yet. Those are gonna come later, but for now, I'm gonna, well, when I get back to the shop, I'll like heat all this stuff up. But in the meantime, I need to pull this off because for some reason, even with new bulbs, these things need modified to work right because like they're just so loose in there. Like you can see that. Like they're not, that's just how they are. So I'm gonna pull this off and then see if I can't get them to work permanently because I'm tired of these bulbs going out. See, you can see that all 3 of the bulbs are in, but watch this one here. Like all it takes is like a little tap. So if I hit a bump, it goes out. Kind of annoying. So I'm gonna try to solve that today. These 2 have been all right. Like even still, I don't like that. So I'm gonna have to do some modifying to make those fit tighter. But those are the bulbs. That's the correct part number. So this sucks. All right. So I took the soldering iron and I put a little bit of a dot on each one of the joints, and I can smack the shit out of them now, and they don't go out. All right. So here's what we got. This is the wire that goes down to the transmission. I got one side in, I got the resistor in the middle, so I kind of ran it the whole way through, and then that'll be sturdy. We'll take the heat gun to it once I get a power source, or a lighter. I don't have one on me. And then, bam, that harness can get loomed, and we never have to look at it again. There we go. And that's for my amplifier if I ever put it in. All right. Now we get to test it. In theory, well, it locks it up a little harder this time, but it's still not locking up. There you go. Lockup switch installed, no check engine lights. By the way, I got the comment, all I did was install this thing to clear the codes every day. I have not gotten any codes in a while. Like, they're the ones that are in the system, but the check engine light has not popped in, I'd like to say at least a week or so at this point. But obviously we know we need trans, but that's besides the point. Whenever I decide it's time to charge this little boxy thing, what we do is we'll come in here, grab our little cord. That's about as long as I got. I can lengthen it down the road, but what we're gonna do is I'm gonna plug it in and we'll see if she works. And how I know it'll work, so if you see how dim it is, see that? It's dying. Now it's bright. And just let it charge. I definitely want to make it longer. I just need to get some wire for that. But if I can make it longer, it will make it so that like I can probably, I don't know, just put it pretty much anywhere. But for now, it's stuck right there. I do want to get it fully charged. Unfortunately, I'll never know if it's fully charged because the light up here doesn't work. So that definitely opens it up a lot more in here. I was able to get the blanket stuff back behind there, and you can see underneath. So duffel bag, backpack. I'm trying to figure out a way to get these blankets to fit a lot better, because it's kind of like a force to get that closed, but when it's down, it's perfectly fine. When it's up, it's kind of a little bit more stressful, but whatever. So I might end up popping a fuse somewhere in that line down there, because when that's plugged in and it's getting charged, it backfeeds. So you can see right there, my phone is charging. So that tells me I should probably put a fuse in there on the cord itself going into it, because even if it blows the fuse up there, it's still from that fuse back up here, so it's the opposite side. Still plugged in. Alright, so due to some unforeseen circumstances, we are going home without the truck. They have made promise and good on, they're gonna bring it to me on Thursday. So we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna get the tank filled because we are out of fuel with the fuel light on. So I'm gonna fill the tank and we're gonna get out of here. I'm gonna let that charge up the entire time. So using one of these things as a knife holder, that thing's super convenient. But let's get moving. All right, so we've been cruising for about 4 hours, 243 minutes, 287 miles. So if you guys wanna do the math and see how far we've driven, this is the hottest the transmission's got, actually, 201. It has been 190 to 195 the whole time. Figures the second I pick up the camera. So I guess at this point, we have to wait till Thursday. So he's gonna bring the truck to me, as I believe I said earlier, but little charger light over there, killing it. It was like 22 degrees earlier. We're in Ohio, so it's 28 now. But we got about 4 hours till we get home. And then I gotta be back up for work at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. So we'll see how that goes. Everything's doing all right for now. I also said about how the check engine light hasn't come on for a week. Well, I was coasting down a mountain earlier and limp mode came on. So all the limp mode does is just cut down the rail pressure. So instead of being 23 or 24,000 PSI max, it just won't build over like 19. It holds back just because it understands that there is a high return rate. So we made it about 300 miles before the transmission exploded and blew up and overheated, but I'm just kidding, it didn't happen. None of that happened, not yet. I can smell the tranny fluid though, but it's fine. I just need to fill the tank and probably throw some things away and we'll be back on our way. Y'all missed it. As I was walking back, the truck decided to throw itself into high idle. And when it does it naturally, I know the injectors are bad, so I guess it must have a different tune for when it kicks itself into high idle and when you manually put it into high idle. Because when you manually put it into high idle, it idles fine. But when it idles itself up to 1,000, it is not fine. It acts like it's loping and misfiring, but I mean, it sounds kind of gnarly, but whatever. You guys missed it earlier. I was filling the tank and I saw that it was on the full line, but not quite there. So I went to walk to a trash can and come back at the truck stop. And it just started, as I'm walking back, I started seeing it gush. So I overfilled it. So I probably spit out like a gallon or 2 or 3 on the ground, but I mean, it could be worse. I definitely should have been paying attention. I saw it was on the full line, but not all the way. So I'm like, I got time. I indeed did not have time. So even though doing those injector tubes made a lot of a difference, like this was 20,000 was the most I could get. Now it's 23,000, but you can still hear, look at the RPMs. I let off, by the way. I let off, by the way. I'm not touching the throttle. You guys see that? She needs injectors. Luckily, it's just a high return rate. I get it, it's dangerous, but the last truck I had with a high return rate, I ran it like that for a good 1.5 years. And then it broke a cylinder. So I'm really hoping that, you know, we have enough time to get injectors. I'm not gonna run it super hard. So I don't know how well the camera picks it up, but it is snowing. And there you go. Just a little bit of snow. Should be fine. It's 29 degrees. It was freezing rain earlier, but it'll be all right. Doesn't look like it's sticking. Seems like they're doing pretty good of a job. Limp mode's fun. I forgot you can't use full throttle in limp mode, but I've been letting it, I've just held it to the floor up the mountain. There's the 232 trans temp. Yeah, you can definitely tell the converter's slipping. Watch that. So if I give it enough throttle, like that's a good 500-600 RPM right there in overdrive. All right, so she has been, yeah, let's turn the light on. So thing has been running 458 minutes. So 7.6 hours, 520 miles. We have 32 to go. And then we're home. Truck's been running the entire time. I did get the coolant temp up to 252. I kinda, since I'm on my way home, I stopped caring and I'm just like, screw it, you know, what's the worst that can happen? So 30 minutes from home, if it were to break down now, it doesn't matter to me because I'm close enough that I could have somebody come out right now and just tow this thing. 483 miles without a break other than refilling. 4.1 miles to go. Oh, sorry, no, 547 miles without a break, 483 minutes. So you guys can divide that by 60 and figure out how long I've been driving. So it's pretty close to 8 hours, if not over, I believe, but we're almost there. Yay. If anybody wants to divide the trip by the minutes, I mean, you can turn that into hours if you want. Let me know. What was my average speed? But also keep in mind that I think I parked for like 10 minutes just to get fuel, use the bathroom, and head out. All right, so lately, with the shop situation, my truck, we do not have a ton of, there's kind of limited availability on what I can work on and what I can't. Certain things, I do have to turn down things quite a bit, but every now and again, I get something in that makes sense. And this truck, well, let's see if I can find the key for it. There it is. Oh, yep, there it is. So this truck came in kind of running bad. I've already cleared the codes because I want to see what'll come up once I clear it. But let's get it started. So you can see the truck smokes white. It's a 298 on it. We're gonna go ahead and, I've already scanned it. Like I said, there was 7 codes. I cleared the codes. I'm gonna see what came back on immediately. But if you guys look, I'm gonna rev it up to about 2 and then let off. So that is not a good sign, but we are gonna go through and check everything out, do an actual diagnosis on it. We're gonna start, check fuel pressure, we're gonna check rail pressure, just pretty much everything, you name it. This is an 04.5, it's a high output truck, but we'll come in here, check the obvious. See, this is the stuff I like to do, the diagnostics and figuring out like the fuel systems on these trucks. I don't know, I can't lie and say I don't enjoy this part of it, but so turbocharger, boost sensor circuit, and manifold, so map sensor. So those are the 2 codes we have. Even though we cleared, those come back on immediately. But we also have the issue of that's not good. So we have a bunch of little issues with this thing. Leaking transmission fluid, just a bunch of different things. So I'm gonna go ahead and start a diagnostic process. We're probably gonna bring the truck in sometime later today, if not tomorrow. But I'm gonna get it parked now. All right, so you can hear the issue. You can see smoke. Just to verify, we're gonna do some of the common sense testing right now. Like, that shit stinks, but I want to do the common sense stuff first before we bring it in, and then we can do a real diagnostic on it, check it out. But I want to make sure that there is no blow-by. Okay, cool. So motor is healthy. That's an issue. Some things I'm worried about. This is an issue that I've found. So battery terminals for one, get the electrical problem solved first, and somebody didn't tighten one of the injector lines up there. So it's gonna be the same diagnostic process with mine. Obviously I'm gonna wanna check the lines. I'm gonna wanna check fuel pressure. I can see back there, like that'll cause injector lines to crack and whatnot, but I definitely wanna check it knowing the history of this truck. You guys will see that we have a transmission leak here. So I've recommended some full send diesel lines. We're probably going to end up replacing those at some point, but we want to get the truck running good first before we start doing any of the extras. Like the transmission leak, it's very minor, so that can wait for now. But getting rid of the heat exchanger as well. But definitely want to go through, check everything, check the fuel filter, check the air filter. Do a very simple diagnostic first. Obviously the engine is healthy, so he has not ruined anything as is. Check the wiring on any of these sensors, make sure that there's no breaks. But other than the obvious, definitely want to fix the electrical first. Like you can see this, like that's not good. That's for the alternator. So that'll definitely throw some electrical issues. And that terminal will probably catch on fire at some point if that's not fixed. But there you go. 04.5, 3rd gen. Like I said, I really do enjoy doing these because I mean, I like things that make me think, and I like the diagnostic process. So I do see somebody has replaced the rail sensor with a rail plug. That's already done, so we know that that's not an issue. So at that point, we're definitely going to have to check rail pressure and make sure that it's putting out what it's supposed to. Make sure we don't have a high return rate. I didn't get any codes for that, so I'm going to take it, once we get some of the obvious stuff fixed, I'm going to take it up the road, and then we're going to go down the mountain, and I'm going to try to coast it in 3rd gear locked up, and we'll see if it throws any P122 or P1223 codes. So before replacing any sensors as well, battery terminals are, that's an electrical fire waiting to happen. Ask me how I know. Like I said, we'll get through. I'm going to start making a list and we will go from there. All right, so you guys haven't seen my face in a while. I know. I try to keep my face out of shots. I do need to shave a little bit, but I try to keep my face out of shots because honestly, when I watch people's videos, I don't like seeing people's faces too much, but I'm going to try to make this short and quick and sweet. So on this truck, first things first, we're going to fix the electrical problems. That's going to come first because that is the obvious. So fix the obvious. It's going to get an ECM code because it's intermittent. So we need to fix all of the battery terminals first and make sure they are a good, solid, tight connection. Then we drive it, see if any codes come back on because we are fighting a turbo boost sensor and a map sensor, but that could also be the battery terminals. So we have the options now that we can go get the injectors tested. I've gone through and done a couple of diagnostics. Might be a high return rate, so we're going to verify that as well, but we were able to get the injectors tested. We're going to get 3 tested at a time, but we're going to check the cross tubes first before we even do any of that. Transmission lines and loose injector hold down. So we're going to take care of all of that on Thursday morning. So we're going to be coming back here at 10 a.m. So we have other things that we need to be doing today, but I got all the diag done like I told the customer, and that's pretty much it. So we're going to start tearing into it, and then probably Saturday we will go drop off the injectors, probably about 3-day lead time. It's one of those, if someone's in a hurry for the truck, it's like just slap the injectors in it and call it a day, but I am not a parts replacer. I like to get things tested and diagnosed properly because parts are expensive. So there she's going to sit. We are going to pop that back in the shop sometime Thursday. So Thursday morning we're going to come back to get on that. Still looking for a transmission for this. I think I might have sourced one, but the hope was that I had one of my customers. I have 2 customers wanting to do 48 to manual swaps, and I said I'd make a deal. I mean, you got a good 48 RE, I'll make a deal on labor, but still haven't heard anything back. So you know my transmission's shot. Look at this. It does not lock up like it's supposed to, but yeah, so we're good. Check out how organized this center console is. All right, we got cookies, my cast for my broken hand that I still have not gone to the doctors for. It's fine. And the pre-workout and a plastic bag. Oh, that's fun. Other than that, everything's organized in the truck. You can see everything is nice. So we're gonna take these wheels back home. I got another set of wheels that's getting sold tonight. So I'm gonna get this thing out of here, and then we gotta go get some pellets for the shop. But if you guys enjoyed, and you want some cheap fuel, go check out Mudflap, link in the description. I will see you in the next video. Later.